It's always nice to get a few sun rays on your back at this time of year. But the downside is the weeds are growing rapid. Just looking at this bed here, this is where I've got garlic down the middle, inundated with weeds. So first of all, I've got to sort that out. I'm going to need to remove these frames. These frames are used where I grab my peas up. I put these up really to protect the plantings in there during the winter, and it stops the foxes and that digging around. But as I say, these are for growing the peas up. In my garden, I've got 2 gutters of peas, and them are up quite high. Need planting out within a week or so. So that's another job to do. And once I've done that, I'll be sowing another couple of gutters as a follow-on. And there, as you can see, is the frame for me runner beans. Now, I've sown those. You may have seen it a bit earlier video or so. And they've grown at a rapid rate, a bit faster than I wanted really, but I might try and harden them off and slow them down a little bit while I can get this ready. Right, let's start the weeding. That's the garlic bed weeded. It did come out quite easy, the money surface weeds, but I did fill a big bucket up. But I must say, I'm really impressed with this garlic, this unbranded, unnamed thing they had from the supermarket, performing much better than my named variety. You can see I put my hand behind it. You can see a rough idea of the stem. The size of that is not much smaller than the elephant garlic that I've grown at the moment. So that's that done. What I might do is tittle the hoe over the top just to ruffle the surface up and get it ready to receive the runner beans in, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, hopefully. Well, good morning. You join me on what appears to be a fantastic day ahead, although it's still a bit chilly. I've just checked the thermometer and it's only 3 degrees. I'm just on my morning rounds now. The first jobs I do every morning is open both greenhouses. And it was just then I thought, I've done no potatoes yet, and we're approaching the end of April, so I better get my gear sorted out. So I'm going to get that together and I'll bring you back a little bit later. Right, I've just done my mix. This stuff in here is the old potato compost that I've had from last year, and I put 2 buckets of that in the equivalent of 1 bucket of fresh compost. And what I do then is just mix it up, because potatoes really will grow in any soil, but I like to give them a bit of nutrients. And also to the mix, add a decent helping of flesh, blood and bone. Bear in mind, these potatoes will be in anything from 3 to 4 months, and in some cases almost a year, like I had last time. And the other thing I had is potato fertiliser. Just put that in the mix. I'll get that another shovel up, and once that's mixed, we can start planting. The first and second earlies, I just put 2 in the bucket. Another layer, another 2, and for main crop I only put 2 potatoes in. These are 30-litre containers. As usual, I've got another video in detail how I do grow them, and I'll put a link there if you want to have a look, rather than keep going through the same thing every year. So I'm just going to mix this up and say we can crack on. People sometimes ask me why I don't grow in the ground. I used to grow in the ground probably the first 6 or 8 years on the allotment. I grew all my potatoes in the ground. I had some really good crops, but the thing I dislike is harvesting. I hate digging the thing. There's not many jobs I do in gardening that I don't like, but digging potatoes up is one of them, and quite often I'd spare the biggest ones, especially on the main crop, and it's a little bit disheartening. So now it's much easier to tip these out and have a look what you've got. It is a bit of a pain sometimes keeping them watered, but as you see, if you watch that video I've just put the link to there, on all the potatoes I leave a good 2 inches at the top below the rim and put the straw on top of there, and that helps retain the moisture as well, and also gives them a bit of insulation for this time of the year, say, because last night we still had a low of around about 1 or 2 degrees. Right, crack on, bring you back in a bit later. That's the 3 buckets, first early, Sharps Express done. I put the straw mulch on the top and then give it a good watering in. I mean, the compost was wet enough really not to require it, but just by watering it in, it takes some moisture into the straw, and that then forms like it compacts itself and binds itself together, which will help it a bit later on. And last but not least, don't forget to add your labels on. So I'm going to store these on one of the other beds and get the shallots done now. This is just normal barley straw they use for pet bedding that I'm top dressing with. Now if you've got a lot of these buckets to do, it's more economical if you go to a farm shop and buy actual bale itself. It's probably cheaper than buying a bag like this, but the amount of stuff I'm doing is not really worth it, and I'll have to store it somewhere. I don't do straw bale gardening, so this is the stuff I use, and that was a full bag, and I'm probably just used over half, so maybe another bag for next year will see me through for another 2 years. So that's the Sharps Express and the shallots done. There's one final job that I want to do now, and that's just to cover the buckets with this debris netting, the scaffold netting. There's a couple of reasons I do it. First of all, it gives that little bit of extra protection if you have the cold nights and that. But the main reason is we have the fox over here, and because there's bloodfish and bone in the soil mix, it does seem to attract them. Going back a few years ago now, I did actually have a video where I'd planted my potatoes, and the following morning I come up, most of them have been dug out, there's compost everywhere, and tubers missing. So put this over, gives you a bit more extra protection. Well, a few days have passed since the last film clips, and I've managed to get all my potatoes in. I'll just spin it around and show you what I've done. I've added another 8 buckets, and these are the main crops, the sour palmyra. I've actually run out of straw for the top, so I'll have to go and get another little bale and top that up, but there's no problem with that. As you can see, they're all covered now with the green debris netting, the builder's mesh. And the good thing about that, as I say before, although it gives you a bit of extra protection with the colder nights, when the horns do come up, they'll actually happily push that up, deform it, and it won't actually harm them. So that's another bonus of using stuff like that. Right, I'm going to give these another little water in there. We have got an exceedingly warm day, so I'm taking advantage of that. I've managed to get most of the roots and that out. Really, I shouldn't have left it that long, but not to worry. So I've got a barrow of rotted cow manure up there. I'm going to pile that in. I'll dig that in also, give it a good watering, and we'll go from there. I'm going to pause the video there. After that clip, I just filmed the outro and got the files ready to load to the computer, ready for editing and upload to YouTube. Now, as I said earlier, first job I do of a morning is to open up the greenhouses, and the last job at night is to close them. And it wasn't until I went down to the Allotment greenhouse to close it up that I had an almighty shock. Earlier in the day, the onions had gone from this, and I was welcomed with this sight. As you can gather, this was quite a shock to come into the greenhouse. Having seen them in the morning, they was bolt upright. And in fact, I was going to be thinking of planting them out in the next week or so, alongside all the other stuff in here. What I think's happened, or 100% sure has happened, is that the fence along here, quite often we get wood pigeons just perching on there, and the view inside here, you can actually see the brassicas, which is a nice meal. I think the wood pigeons come in here, panicked, and landed on there. First of all, I thought someone had been in and smashed the onions down, but I could actually see a trail where they'd gone along, and like you could see like a path going. I have tried to pull some of these up, see if they'll recover. I'd still plan on planting these out, although a lot of the leaves have actually bent over and snapped off in a lot of cases. But if I can recover 50% of them, it'll be a bonus. Say the brassicas are also ready to go out. So a lesson learned. Earlier on in the allotment life on here, I did put a door which was actually a piece of green fabric which hung from there, and I did that purely to stop the cats or anything coming in. But I know the horse has bolted, but I think a plan for the next day or so is to build another door, this time with mesh on to get maximum airflow, and hang that. It will bring the onions back, but hopefully it'll prevent it from happening again.